up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I came across this clip from this channel where Myron from Fresh and Fit was on this, and this Christian guy tells him that he basically destroyed his personal life and kind of led him astray based off of what he used to say on the Fresh and Fit podcast. He said he listened to what Myron said and it kind of led him astray, and he wanted to let him know how and basically tell him that he was wrong. So I want you to hear, I got the audio of this clip, you guys, for copyright purposes, but I want you to listen to what he said, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go.
What's up, man?
Do you remember me at all?
No.
Okay. So can I ask a quick synopsis of what you think the prescription is for society today for men? In a short version, what do you think they should do to be successful with women?
To be successful with women, yeah. Okay, are we talking about like getting a girl for a long-term relationship, just to get laid? What are we talking about?
Well, I think the only reason should be for a long-term relationship and marriage. I mean, that's Jesus Christ founded it, but I'm just curious what your prescription is.
Well, I've talked about this. I think guys have to have certain things in place, right, before they want to get into a long-term relationship. It's 5 things. So I would say 100K per year, 6 figures a year, 6 months to 1 year of savings, be in good shape, have at least 50 partners, right, sexual body count.
All right, and then is that the last one?
And then there's one more, but that's fine. You could go ahead and engage with what I've said so far.
So the reason I asked that is I've watched almost every single podcast you ever did for about 1.5 years.
Now, before we get into that, what do y'all think about 50 partners or more? Is that something necessary that you have to have in order to be in a long-term relationship with a woman? Or is that something you think men should have? He said 100K or more. I think that's where the 100K comes from. A lot of people think that a man needs to make 100K in order to take him seriously. Being fit and things of that nature, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with building yourself up and doing the best that you can financially and preparing, because I think you should prepare for a family. If you want a family, I think you should prepare for a family. I think you should make sure that you have enough money, you know what I mean, at least saved up, so that you are financially prepared for said family, because you are responsible for that family. But the 50 partners or more, I don't know if that's I don't think that should be a necessary requirement. I just don't think so, but I want to hear y'all thoughts on it. But let's continue.
So much so that I bought into a lot of the things that you said, and for about 2 years it led me astray and significantly damaged my personal life, including relationships.
How did it lead you astray?
Well, you told me to go sleep with a bunch of women and date multiple women at the same time, which I did, and it significantly damaged my life. And it wasn't until I actually turned around and started listening to Jesus Christ that I was saved. Now I'm happily married. I have one child now with another one on the way, and I've never felt happier. But I felt...
Congratulations, that's good. That's really good.
Thank you. And I know you're not against that, but my concern is what you're saying to men leads them astray, because I'm a walking example of it. And I think you're significantly damaging people, and especially you're leading people away from morality. Women are not sex objects. Women are created in the image of God, and they are valuable. And they should be treated as such. Why should God give you one of his children if you don't even know how to treat them? So I think...
So a question for you. You said you got out there dating and meeting women and stuff.
Now, before Myron continues, so what do y'all think about that? So, you know, we talk about discipline and men having it and not just sleeping with everybody. And then especially if you're trying to create a relationship with a woman who you want, you know, for long-term relationship or marriage, I would have to agree that I don't think it's the best advice to give a man to go out and just sleep with every woman and date multiple women at the same time, because how are you going to establish a stable relationship with one woman if you're out here dating multiple women? And what would that woman think about you if you're juggling multiple women, and she's not going to think that you're taking her seriously? And wouldn't you think that would create a issue for the man if he's sleeping with multiple women, dating multiple women? Who's he going to take seriously? I don't know. I think as much as we talk about, and I know men and women are different. That's why I wanted to react to this, to get your thoughts on it. Both women and men, get your thoughts on this, because women have a different perspective from men, of course, because we're not the same. So we see it differently. Can men, sleep with a bunch of women And then when they find the one, can they really be monogamous with that one woman? Can they really not want the attention of other women or find themselves trying to be with other women sexually, even when they find the one that they want to marry and have a long-lasting relationship with? So sometimes I think, and I could be wrong, that's why I'm bringing it up, can men really separate themselves from that? Once you've been promiscuous, once you've been with a whole bunch of women, do you just let that go when you find the one and you don't find yourself trying to have different sexual partners, even if you are married, even if you are in a relationship? Because I think with women, it's difficult the same way, you know, we talk about women who have been 304s for years. It's going to be difficult to change her into a housewife and be with one man if she has a history of being with so many men. Is it different for men, or is there some, you know, some similarities when it comes to that? Also, I want to say, listen, this is why you have to be cautious and careful who you listen to. You know what I mean? A person can give you advice and tell you what they think you should do, but it's up to you whether you listen to it or not and whether you follow it. So in this case, he followed it. He said it didn't work out for him, and he had to get himself right with God and change the way he thought, and then unfollow that idea and go somewhere else. And him switching up, it actually worked for him, and now he has a wife and 2 kids. You have to really be cautious of who you allow to dictate how you move, because at the end of the day, they could tell you all day, it's up to you to do it or not. So it's really you making a decision based off what somebody else is saying, but you have to, you know, determine or decipher who you are gonna allow to lead you, basically. Let's continue.
And then you said that it kind of hurt you.
Yeah.
How did it hurt you specifically? Did you like just start? What happened specifically?
Well, I started warring against my own flesh. It's like trying to fill an empty void. Mm-hmm. There's a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that can only be filled by God alone. Anything else you try to fill with that's not going to satisfy it. Sure. And I tried to do it with sex.
Yeah. So, would it be fair? How'd you meet your wife?
We actually had the #1 dating podcast in North and South Carolina called Who Hurt You Podcast. Okay. And I'm also friends with Fresh. I know him very well. I texted him before I came here. Yeah. And I know pretty much everyone on your crew. But I was a heavy follower, and you actually inspired me to start the podcast, and I realized what I was doing was wrong.
Yeah, so would it be fair to say that when you went through that experience, you were able to identify characteristics that you probably found as unredeemable and you probably wouldn't want to commit to, right?
In what way?
Well, when you were seeing these women, right, you probably started seeing patterns in how they behave, how they speak or whatever. Maybe they're not qualified to be a wife. Because the thing is, right?
Well, I don't need that. I have the Bible for that. It tells me what to look for.
Yeah, but the thing is that you were able, and again, you're probably not going to notice it, but when you dated and dealt with all these women, you probably were able to identify characteristics that you were not fond of, or characteristics that would make a woman not a good candidate for a long-term relationship. And I think half the game is figuring out which girls don't qualify for marriage versus which ones that do. And clearly you learned a skill set on how to become attractive and get women, and then you're able to identify the things that you like versus the things that you don't like. And that only comes a lot of times with experience. Now look, if a guy can go ahead and, you know, find a woman as a virgin and be attractive and be able to understand how to navigate that, that's great in modern times. But the reality is a lot of guys don't. And I mean, even in your success story, you had to go through a lot of bad women to be able to identify your current wife as the one. So failures are good. They're good.
Yeah, failures, failures in the sense of socioeconomic or maybe even relationship failures could be good. But there's a difference with what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're warned against our soul. Jesus Christ commands us to marry one woman. That's it. Sure. And what you were causing me to do was sin against myself. And that's the point I'm trying to get to. It's immoral.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take personal responsibility, bro. Because here's the reality.
No, I do, 100%.
Yeah, so
very publicly, I have in front of over 40,000 people. I've done that.
Yeah, great. But the point I'm trying to make is I teach guys a skill set, right? If I give you a gun and you shoot yourself in the foot, is that my fault? If I taught you how to properly use it, how to disarm it, disassemble it, you know, how to load the magazine in properly, all that. If I give you the skill set, then you shoot yourself in the foot, right? Is that really my fault?
Well, you wanted to go on
you wanted to go toward a sex escapade, which is, I guess, fine. But the reality is I armed you with the tools to become an attractive guy, and you utilize that. You can't come back and get mad.
No,
and
you didn't arm me
oh,
with that. I became attractive when I followed Jesus. That was it.
Oh, okay. Now it's changing the story.
No, I'm not changing any story. It's one thing to be attractive in the sense of gaining sexual partners, but it's a completely different thing to be attractive to someone that wants to marry you and spend their life with you and have kids with you. Those are two completely different sexual attractions. If I walk in here looking like Thor, I'm 6'2" and shredded, obviously I'm going to be attractive to women, but it doesn't mean that that's a relationship that that produces value for me and my family.
And again, everyone is different, right? For you, it took some time, and you found God, and you shifted. But the reality is, I gave you the skill set, and then you choose what you want to do.
Listen, I think this guy had a point. You know, yes, you could be attractive to women, 6'2", get the money, you know what I'm saying? Present as an attractive man, and women will be attracted to you. But he's absolutely right. You have to have more qualities to you other than just that to get a woman that you even want to marry and have a real stable life with. There's a difference between being able to attract women for sex. He's absolutely right. They'll sleep with you, but it doesn't mean that they're going to be the right women for you to marry. So there's a different set of tools that you would need to attract the right type of women who want to be with you for real, not somebody who's just trying to use you or just be around you because you're attractive. There are a lot of attractive men who are single because they're having a hard time finding women who are the type of women that they would want to take seriously. So yeah, I think a lot of the advice given is for men to be able to attract women for sexual relationships. But a lot of those men end up by themselves feeling lost because they're not really attracting the type of women that really care about them, that really want to be with them. But these women only are looking for a come up or something from them. So I think there is much more to be said about how you are able to attract women and what's the purpose of the attraction. So listen, I'm gonna leave it here. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below of this conversation. What do you think about the advice that Myron gives? Have you listened or pattern yourself behind the advice that he's given, and has it worked for you, or has it not? Has it backfired? And just in general, what do you think about what the guy had to say, and what do you think about the advice that Myron gives for men to establish themselves, to make themselves more attractive for women? I definitely want you to chime in the comments below. I want to hear what you got to say. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Y'all know what it is. Hit that notification bell, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.